Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever time of the day you're listening to this. Welcome to episode 13 of the What Am I Doing podcast. And today we have a very special guest, me. Um, I decided to do a solo cast because I had a few guests that couldn't make it, and I was like, fuck it, I want to try and just ramble for a little bit and see what that comes out like. So I'm just going on this, the first shot. I don't know what's going to come out of my head. But let's hope that it's entertaining a little bit, at the very least. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Um, let's start with how shows have been going. What have we done? What have we done recently? There's been a lot of shows. Oh, we so it was a big one. We did the comedy festival in Palmerston North. Myself, Gav, and Tim. That was a really good experience, a good time, and a good show. I think I haven't watched the footage back yet. I think I was maybe slightly. I remember after it not feeling fantastic. That I was like, that was okay. My own set, the other guys did really well. Maybe I was being a bit too critical, but I didn't feel like I got where in my head where I thought the night would go. I think that was like the expectations of going in to a comedy festival, that you're going into a room where everyone is just like already warmed up, and I was the first person on at 7, and the jokes worked, everyone laughed, it was good, but in my head, the way I'd build it in my head is like, you're doing your first festival, you're just going to go out there and crush for 15 minutes. And it didn't go like that. It was by no means a bomb, but it was like, oh, okay, that was fine. That was good, and it was something that Gary Sanson, who was kind of the host and opening for us, was like, I got stuck into just doing my material, and didn't want to waver off doing that. And he's like, sometimes you need to like go into the crowd and kind of work with the crowd and do a bit of crowd work, and don't be afraid to kind of waver from your material. You're doing. You kind of need to keep digging into the crowd, and I did notice I have a few points in my set. It was not exactly crowd work, but I used a response from the crowd as a setup to the next joke or to a punchline. And anytime I did that, it worked really well. And you've got it kind of made me realize with slightly longer sets, at the level of comedian I am now, you do need to dip into the crowd to get them on side, and to get them into the rhythm of listening to stand up and material. But you need to break away from that to keep them on their toes. I don't have a absolutely smashing killer 15 minutes. Yeah, I have a good 10, and then it works when the room is already a little bit warmed up. And if I'm going in first, it's like, okay, well, there's adjustments that need to be made to be to have a successful set. And yeah, I found that really interesting, and I've been trying to do that now, and trying to not be as rigid when I'm on stage. I've had a good few gigs this week as well. I have a few more tonight, so I'm going to try that and have a couple of longer sets. So try and be a bit more loose, which is easier said than done. Because when in me, I'd practice my set, and it's like, oh, they're just going to be ready to listen to that. And they were, but they need a bit of warming up. So I'll take that and apply it to the next couple of sets. Yeah, that was good. We did another show on I think it was the Thursday, the 17th. Myself, Michael McCauley, and Gary and Aaron Barber did like a Lucky to Be Here show in the powwow room, and that was one of those under level 2 shows, and it was fucking brilliant, and the room was great. Everyone was really into it. I had a really good set. I had fun. Everyone else killed it, and it was a lot of fun. And I did a show the next night, and it was a much shorter set, so it was only like 6 minutes. And I was like, well, I did 10 last night and did really well. So this is six. So I've got 6 minutes hanging around somewhere that I can pull out my arse that like I don't have to really do much preparation for. And yeah, that was wrong. that was that is not how that works. Because I went on stage, I'd started out. I did a fucking really stupid. It's one of those like really stupid hacky jokes that I was like, oh, this will work, and it fucking bombed. I was like, oh god, no. And I got them back with my material, the kind of first 2 minutes doing well, and then it just I don't know what happened. I got distracted and was just wasn't in the moment and was just looking up at the fucking ceiling, and I had to force myself to look at the crowd, and it was weird. It was I brought my mic up on stage because it was on level 2, so we were sharing mics, and there was a mic standing there, which what the MC was using, and I don't know for some reason I didn't feel like I could touch the mic stand or the mic, and I felt like my movement was limited on stage. So I felt kind of like I don't know, like not trapped, but really restricted in how I could move. And I normally like to lean on the mic stand and fuck around with that. I've been doing that a lot lately. Seems to like center me, and I didn't have that, so I just kind of felt like a fucking just a tumbleweed just blowing around the fucking stage. Yeah, so that didn't. The good thing about a 6 minute set is that it ends quite quickly. So that that ended, and everyone else has. It was worse. Like you're sitting there and after like bombing the your set, and you're going, well, that was rough. And then everyone else on the night, I mean, everyone is absolutely murdered. And you're going, everyone's like, that was a great show. And you're like, yeah, it was, except, and you're the exception. And you're sitting there going, yeah, well done, guys. I'm gonna head out because that was not a good performance by me. And they say you learn a lot from the things that go wrong, and that's definitely the case. I could see that I was underprepared and assumed I could just kind of slightly phone it in because I'd done so many like sets of that time, and I know what works and I have my material that works, but my head and my heart wasn't in it. And yeah, it fucking the audience could tell that. I'm sure they could, and that's where you weren't getting the energy back because I wasn't giving it. So yeah, that was that was a good learning curve. And then so I had a really good show on the Thursday, a bad performance in an amazing show on Friday, and then on Saturday we opened for the I was the opening act in our Absolute Legend show, which is myself, Gav, and Tim, and I opened there, put in a really good performance. There's a couple of tweaks that need to be made in terms of like, doing a bit more crowd work and trying to involve the crowd a little bit more just to warm them up. And overall, a good weekend where I actually learned a lot more and realized that um, obviously there's improvements to be made. I'm not of the mind that there's very little I need to improve, but sometimes you don't know what you need to do to make those improvements. So I know that when the material is improving all the time, my writing is improving all the time, the performance is getting better. But you go, what specifically do I need to do to kind of, if you think about like a video game, like unlock the next level? I think stand up is an awful lot like that. You know what a really really good stand up set looks like. You kind of understand the mechanics of how you can get to that, but it's applying all those techniques and tricks, and sometimes you don't know how to um, unlock you kind of your next level of performance. So it was interesting. So Gary's like, "Oh, you just need to start doing MCing, so you work on that skill of reading a room, working on your crowd work a little bit, and how to kind of bring a slightly cold crowd around to you, you know, by involving them a little bit more on how to somehow um in bring them into your material, which I think I'm trying to find a few more spots within my sets where I can use the crowd and involve the crowd a little bit more. Um, so like that was interesting because okay, and that's the next thing to work on, to get to the next level of performance. So it was a good time realizing that now it's been pointing out to me what I need to work on, because you always know you need to get better, but sometimes it's hard to understand where you need to improve. So now I know exactly where I need to improve and what to do to get there. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I did a set I opened for Gary this week, so that was about 2 weeks ago. And this week, I opened up for Gary doing his one man show, Ballman Sings Rihanna, in the Cavern Club, and I did about 8 minutes at the start. Did a bit of crowd work, told a bit of jokes, much more comfortable, and tried out those little things, and that that felt good. I felt good, like getting a room completely cold and getting them kind of into material and playing around with them a little bit more, being a little bit more loose in terms of you know of a performance. It's like I'm just going to do 6 minutes of material and then fuck off. It's like, no, let's try and be a bit more conversational. So that was good. And then I jumped across to Circus Bar to do an open spot, and I've had I had I've been struggling with trying to work on new material. So I was like, how the fuck do I try and work on on new material where I'm doing slightly more high pressure shows where you're being paid. So I don't want to work on try a brand new idea there. So like I haven't been able to get to much more open mic. So I was like, okay, I had the premises, but nothing really worked on, and I just kind of wrote the premises down on my hand, just one word, and then I just went up on stage and just riffed for about 7 minutes, and I found some really good stuff like from doing that. And I was like, oh, that was fucking fun. No pressure, just go off. And it was also, I found a few bits that okay, that works, that works, that works. I'll take that, and now I can add a little bit more structure and a little bit more writing to it, and it kind of brought back a little bit more of the of my energy around stand up, that as I can do. Because I have a bit more new material now, and figuring out ways to work out that new material of just going up and just fucking going off. Not going to work every time, and I don't think, I had some things that fucking bombed on the night, but I had enough there to make it a good time, and then got some laughs and got some new material out of it. That I'm like, okay, that's going to be worked on. So that was a good night on Thursday. Thursday night was a fucking crazy night in Wellington. So there was how many shows? There was 5 shows, stand up shows, happening on what day was it? I think it was the 24th. So it was all starting at 8 o'clock. There's Gary's solo show in Cavern. There was Neil's 50+ show in the Fringe Bar. There's Bob's open mic in Circus. So there are all 3 shows within about like 30 seconds walk of each other, all on the same street. So there's 3 comedy shows happening at 8 o'clock at the same time. And then there was San Fran, and then there was the Raw Quest finals happening at 8 o'clock as well. And I think Pat and Sarah Devsich had a show in Powwow Room as well. I know that didn't go ahead. So there was like, you at the time you go, there's fucking 5 shows happening, which is fantastic to see. It's a great thing to see that there's so much comedy happening. But I do wonder, is there an audience that can facilitate all those shows happening at the same time in Wellington, because there's the population and isn't as big. I think all the shows did fine. They did well. I think San Fran and Neil, I think, sold out. The other shows were good. We had decent crowds at both. So it did okay. I don't think it can. I think every once in a while a night like that when there's a lot of comedy happening is good. I don't think Wellington can continue having nights where will be 4 or 5 shows on in one night. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't think there's enough people around to facilitate all those shows. But it's a good thing to see. I think we're kind of starting to see where the kind of apex of how many shows a week there can be, where they can be successful. If they're all successful, fantastic. But I think we're getting to a point where I think you can definitely have a show on night, and Friday night I think you can have two, three, maybe big shows happening, and you'll get a crowd at all of them. On Friday, after doing those two shows on Thursday, I ran this. I just did the door and ran the show at the me and Gav show, line them up. I wasn't on the lineup, just trying to make sure the show runs smoothly, and it did, and it was good, and all the acts had a lot of fun. It's a great little show, did really well, had a good little crowd. Newtown's Social Club is a great little venue. Any comics looking to do shows, hit them up because it's a good fun show. A little bit wild in there, but it is a bar show. But it's fun. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Newtown's fucking crazy. I was outside. I was doing the door, and people say, "Why are you doing the door?" I'm like, because there are fucking lunatics walking around Newtown, and people are like, "Why are you still out there? Why aren't you watching the show?" I was like, there was a man who tried to fight a car, stopped at a traffic light, and he didn't look like fucking crazy or homeless. He was just like normal dude in a like fucking jeans and a hoodie, headphones on, kind of listening to his music, chilling out, and then I just saw him shouting at a car, and then I saw him square up to a tree afterwards. After the car just drove off, he was like, "Well, I'm gonna fight this tree," and then started talking smack to the tree. He was like, you don't want none of this. You don't want none of this." He was white, which was problematic with his accent. He was putting on a bit of an accent. He's like, "You don't want none of this," and then he the tree clearly backed down from the fight, and he fucked off. So that's kind of the people I'm trying to keep out of the show. Or if they buy a ticket, fair enough, I'll take their money, that's okay. But yeah, you get and then a van pulled up of like 4 guys, and they're all like tradies, and one dude just came out of where the back of the van where they keep all the tools, and he's like, he's having a bit of trouble standing because he's been in the back of the van, and then he gets out of the van, and you could just tell he just couldn't stand because he was fucking hammered. He tries to get on one of those scooters, the fucking jump scooters, and obviously he hadn't activated it, so he's just trying to fucking push the scooter that's not moving. It's one of those flamingo ones that's going and he's still like, "No, I'm going on the scooter." The rest of his mates fucked off somewhere else because he couldn't get into the bar. So that might have been a bit distracting for the audience in the venue if they had tried to get in, which they did. Yeah, so that's why that kind of has to happen. I never really understood why people would be like, "Oh, Newtown's a bit mad," and I go there and like, it's fine. I don't understand where that's coming from, but being there on a Friday night from being on the street from 8 to 10, I see what people are saying now. And if you are a tree, be careful. There is a dude who does want to fight you. Yeah, I hope he got home okay. It was also like 7:30 when he was trying to fight a tree, which I think is a lot to do. If you're in a state on a Friday at 7:30 where you want to fight a tree, it's probably best to go home. I don't know what the rest of your day was like, but you clearly can't handle whatever you're taking if you're trying to fight a tree that early. You try to fight a tree at 3 o'clock in the morning, I feel like that's acceptable. That's almost expected. That's why you put the little cages. In Ireland, we put like cages around a tree because people will fight them or pull them down in the evening. And that's kind of like, we have the cage, it's fine, he won't take it down. This man was trying to fight a tree, and it was bright maybe 2 hours ago, and I think if you're trying to fight a tree and it was bright only a little while ago, you need to reassess the decisions you're making in your life. Um, it was entertaining. I will say though. I kind of wish the tree sparked him, but you know, the tree was the bigger man, and just let him walk on. So that was fun. That was fun. So I quit smoking. And quitting smoking is, well, I quit smoking and I started vaping, and yeah, it's better, I suppose. I don't know. I feel my better, definitely better for my wallet. I don't spend as much money. My lungs feel less fucking angry, and I don't stink anymore of cigarettes, which is great. So that's all good. The only problem with vaping is like I don't know when to stop. Like, because a cigarette, it's a finite amount of time. No, yeah, finite amount of time. You go smoke a cigarette, you've burned like 2 or 3 minutes, and you're good for a little while. With a vape, it doesn't stop. Like the only time I feel like I stop is when I feel sick from smoking it so much. I'm like, okay, now it's time to go back inside. You know, you used to. I know. You used to get like if you were a smoker for some reason, you got an extra 15 minutes a day for a break because you were a smoker. You just had a smoke break. And like with a vape break, you could not be seen for the rest of the day, and that's just your time off. You're like, oh, I was going for a vape, and it was like, well, it didn't end. My battery died, so eventually I had to come back to work. I don't know if that excuse would fly, but you know, it's an issue I have with the vapes. And I also don't like saying I'm going for a vape. Going for a puff doesn't is still, I don't know if doesn't sit right. Um, what else can you say? I said going for a suck because you suck on the vape, but that again causes problems, especially if you're asking someone else. It's like, do you want to go out for a suck? They might take it wrong, especially if it's at work. And so I've left that one. I've shelved that one. Going, I've settled on it. Going for a smoke is still works better than going for a vape. Because I people ask me what flavor of vape do I use, and I use tobacco because I'm not a child. And I used to smoke cigarettes, and I don't want to start smoking bubblegum. It's not really why I smoked. Um, I don't understand the flavors. I've got them. They make me feel sick after a while. That's probably why a lot of kids are smoking vapes because they're like, oh, bubblegum. I can smoke bubblegum. It's great. And I suppose that's probably healthier for kids than actual smoking cigarettes. Um, I don't know. I like the way we've just people who vape are like, yeah, look, it's better than smoking, but the long term data is not available. So while that's not available, we'll just assume it's better than smoking. And I'm one of those people. I'm not saying like you're stupid if you think that. I like that we've all come to that collective decision that hey, we don't know if this is bad for us, but right now it's fine. It's okay. If we don't we don't have the information of long term use, but guess what? We've all decided that we're going to be guinea pigs for it, and we've all made that conscious decision that that's okay. Um, I think we should try that with more things. I was gonna say cocaine, but we all know that that's just too fun to try out for too long, and the long term damage is you probably lose your house, which is probably not great. So what else could you do that for? What were we saying? Um, I was gonna say like in New Zealand now we have the vote or the referendum, which I can't vote for, which is fun because I can have an opinion, but it doesn't matter, and like that's great because really my opinion on anything doesn't really matter, but it's really nice to have that kind of backed up when you're in another country and there's a referendum going on. Someone asks you your opinion, you tell them, and you go, well, it doesn't matter because I can't vote. And that's kind of like, it's a good feeling because it really is the feeling I have about any of the opinions I have on anything political is like, even if I have a vote, my opinion doesn't actually matter. Now I just can back it up. I'm like, no, my opinion doesn't matter whether we vote for weed or vote yes for euthanasia. Like, it doesn't matter what I think because I can't vote. And it's nice to just have that freeing thought that, my opinion doesn't matter. Even if I can vote, it doesn't really matter, Because I don't know, the weed referendum seems silly to have here because everyone already smokes weed. It feels like it just should be something that's just it could be just done overnight. Like, yeah, look, it's decriminalized or legal now. I don't know why we're having a vote. Um, well, yeah, I know there's laws and all that, but in my head, it's just like it's everyone's already doing it, and those who aren't, and you're not going to stop people by making it illegal. I don't get the argument that some people make that like it'll take the money out of gangs' hands. I don't think there's a lot of gangs are making that much money from selling weed. It's fucking there's loads of it here, and there's loads of people who sell weed. Weed is quite cheap here. So I don't think that's an argument that can be used that you're taking it out of the gang's hands. I think you're taking out of you're stopping maybe people hanging around people who gangs who have access to other harder drugs, which in New Zealand are hard. So you can go for weed, like your weed dealer, if you're getting it from the gangs, are also going to have meth and stuff like that, and then that's where they make their money. So here, yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I don't know what makes sense. I don't. I'm anyway. The euthanasia thing, I'm like, just yeah, look, let you do what you want. If you want to be like, hey, look, I'm got terminal illness. This shit. Can I die? And you're like, yeah, no worries. That sounds like a terrible predicament you're in. I would definitely pick the same thing. I don't see why you should stop anyone doing that. Only thing you could do really and make sure that the person isn't being coerced into it by their evil children who wants to take their will. And you just have a living will. You can go like, hey, look, I if I do get anything, I want to be euthanized. And yeah. No, also the thing with euthanasia is like, yeah, you can go to a clinic to have it done, but like if you wanted to kill yourself, there's not really anyone can do to stop you. If you're like, I know it's gonna be a little bit more violent or aggressive in the way you might go about doing it. But if you're like, hey, if you got terminal cancer, you're like, well, can I kill myself legally? They're like, no. Well, okay, I'll just do it, and there's nothing really you can do. There's no uh uh harm in that like crime. It's not fucking crime. No harm in that if you've got a terminal illness or something like that. I'm just gonna kill myself. You're like, well, all right, fuck, you know. But maybe it might be a bit sad if because I think the cool thing about the euthanasia thing is that you bring your family around and you go into a nice room and you'd spend a nice time together, and then they pass away peacefully. The thing, if you were like just doing it yourself, it'd be just them trying to watch it chalk down a lot of like paracetamol. It probably is not as cozy as a government sponsored one. Um, but shouldn't stop you from doing it if you've got a terminal illness. I don't see how the law is gonna really hurt that. Anyway, that's what I think about that. I don't know. If that makes any sense. Oh God. See, yeah, this is kind of fun. This is like the state of the world at the moment, where where I can sit in my living room by myself and talk to for an hour, and it's like, oh, he's a content creator. He's not a crazy person. And you're listening, whoever listening, who's made it this far into this, it's like, yeah, no, I'm just listening to a guy talking to a microphone by himself in a room by himself. and that's what gets me through the day. This gets you through your 9 to 5, which is probably a bad sign, or maybe it's a good sign. Maybe just the light in your life. Which I hope I'm not, because yeah, it's probably not a good move. But it's funny. It's funny that the barrier to entry for anything is much lower, which is probably why I'm able to do this, because there's no one that can stop you. Which I don't know if it's a good thing or not. Um, what else has been going on? So I didn't get through to the finals. Oh, I didn't get past the semis in the Raw Quest, the competition for open mic comedy. I didn't get past the semis, and I I think I did as well as I could on the night. I don't. I think I actually did quite well. I had a good set. Probably one of the best ones I've had in a while. And while I wasn't surprised I didn't go through, I was very annoyed. And that's not annoyed at anyone, like any of the judges or the competition or anything like that. It was just like, fuck. I was like, I pretty much, I think I could have done a little bit better. I was a little bit rusty, so I'll give myself that. But I think there was one small part of my set that fell a little bit flat, and I think that's what didn't get me through. It was a heat where everyone fucking murdered that night, which is fantastic. And maybe I wasn't at the level on the night to go through. So that's fair enough. It didn't stop me wanting to punch everything like a teenager. I was like, Jesus Christ, I haven't felt this fucking annoyance and rage since I was about 15. But I didn't. I took it like a man, and I came home and I ranted and raved for a few minutes, and then it was fine. And it's okay to be upset, and I was upset. And yeah, but it wasn't real. It was just like, oh look, I'd said I at the start of the year I just wanted to get through the first round. I got through the first round, got to the semis, and in my head I thought this would be a good way to get more gigs and do all of this. And I think in the lockdown we had like six weeks off where I did a lot of writing, I did a lot of planning and trying to map out how we're gonna progress and challenge myself this year to doing stand up. And I've kind of done that, and then the semis kind of rolled around like 6 months later, and I was like, I think pretty much everything I would have got out of getting further in the competition, I'd already kind of gained this year by just um asking people to be on shows and getting after it, and starting producing our own show, doing the podcast, and doing all this kind of things that I've kind of, in my head, I've probably gotten more out of just doing that than maybe the competition would have brought me. Um, so that's a positive thing. I would still like to get to the finals. I don't know if I'm going to enter next year. I don't know if I can enter next year. I know you can enter after 2 years, but I think if you're being paid as a comic a few times and stuff like that, I don't know if you're allowed to enter. Also, the ethics of me, if you're 2 years in, because I'd be about 2 years in the next time I enter, and you might be going up against people who are doing comedy for the third or fourth time. Now, while it may be unfair for me to beat them, it would be terrible for me to be knocked out by someone doing comedy for the first or second time. So as much as it could be something to protect myself from. And I just make it sound like I'm being very morally correct. Which is a win-win situation for me, basically. So that could be something I could do, and then I could be like, "Nah, man, I don't think it's fair." But really, I've seen like 2 or 3 people come to the open mics going, "Oh fuck, they're really good." I'm like, I'm not going to enter this year, because I want to give them a chance, and really, it's just because I know they'd absolutely smoke me. So I might do that. I might do that. Claim some brownie points with nobody, but about myself, and I can feel good about myself then. And it'll all be worth it. What else have we got going? We're doing the guys, me, Gavin, Tim, the guys, the three absolute legends. What a name for a show. We we're doing the Fringe After Dark in Whangarei in October. We have three shows. A Friday, a Saturday. Oh no, sorry, a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're doing a 6:30 show on Friday, which I imagine four people will turn up to, because that's it's a good time for comedy. Is 6:30 on a Friday when it's nice and bright. It's a good time. I comedy thrives just in early evening. That's when people want to hear some fucked up shit. So we'll see how that goes. On Saturday we have the late night. On Friday we have the late night spot at 9:30. Oh no, sorry. So Thursday, I fucked this all up. Thursday is the early set, so people will still probably be in work or just getting out of work around 6:30, and then Friday is the late night spot at 9:30, and that is going to be. I've been to Whangarei once, and once it gets dark there, shit starts to fucking change. So that will be a rowdy show, and I hope it will be, because I cannot wait. I've been there once. I was in Whangarei once with my fiance, and we were in drinking at this bar, and these three guys came over, and they were clearly on some sort of drug. I would say MD. And they sat down, and me and Ashley were sitting kind of at, let's say, like a small little square table, and we weren't sitting facing each other. So I was like on her left. So clearly we were there together, because we were the only two people sitting at this small table. So these three guys come over and then just start chatting to Ashleen, which I just found hilarious, because they're like, "Oh, where are you from? What are you doing here?" As if they didn't realize I was there. I actually think they maybe not have realized I was there, because after about 10 minutes, they're like, "So what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm with her. That's my well, we weren't engaged at the time. It's like, that's my girlfriend." And I had given those 10 minutes of them not talking to me. I was like, how can I fuck with these people? They were being nice, but they were, out of their tits and a bit, weird. So I was like, "Oh, yes, that's my girlfriend. But she's also like my sister." And they were like, "Ha ha 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 ha." And I was like, "Oh no, did you not know? Like, that's what we do in Ireland. She's my sister, but she's also my girlfriend." And they heard that, and they were like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then by this time, Ashleen started playing along. She's like, "Yeah, clearly we're brother and sister." So then they got up and left, and we freaked them out a little bit, which was a lot of fun. And then we went back out for a cigarette, and they started doing it again. We started chatting over Ashleen, and they didn't see me. And then I went, "All right, you enjoying talking to my sister?" And then they realized who they were talking to again. They were like, "Oh fuck, it's a brother and sister," and they left again. So I'm pretty sure we convinced three guys that that people in Ireland hook up with their brother and sister almost exclusively. So that's the kind of energy I'm going to be bringing on the late show on the Friday. Oh, is that an earthquake? I don't know. Could be. I never know if there's an earthquake happening in New Zealand or it's a bit of wind. That's how old my house is. When it's windy, it shakes like fuck. Yeah, so we're doing that in Whangarei. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're doing the Saturday. I think 8 o'clock show on Saturday. I'm looking forward to that. 3 nights doing that. Might pick up another couple of other spots there. We don't know. But that's going to be fun. Doing a Saturday Night Laughs in Featherstone on the 13th of October or 14th. I'm not sure. So that's going to be fun. It's another new place that the guys at the Humours are trying to push comedy, and I'm really excited to be part of that show. And then that's kind of the big things over for this year. I know I've been asked to do a couple of fringe shows for next year, which I'm doing. The it's rolling around for registration very very um uh, sorry. It's rolling registration for next year's Fringe in Wellington is fucking in about 2 weeks. So I need to get my shit together to put something in for that. I think I'm gonna do a half-hour show. I don't know with who. I might just do a lineup show. Maybe get two openers and do half an hour. I don't know if I have half. I should have half an hour by then, but we'll see. So that is my loose plans for next year because um, not going anywhere other than New Zealand at the moment with this fucking coronavirus, which is a lot of fun. Um, there's a funny thing happening on the YouTube channel. So the episode I did with Chris, for some reason, I don't know if it's real people or bots, but they keep commenting on it. And then they're like, please have Chris again. Let's get Chris back. Chris was great. Now, the reason I say these are bots because every time I get a comment, I look at the the person who's left it, the commenter, and the other accounts were created like 20 minutes before they left their comment. But some dude has started answering the bots, and he's like, "Hey, Shannon, you should really get Chris back on again. Everyone wants to have him back. I'm just saying, no hate." Which I think is funny because I was like, I'm not going to respond. I responded to the first one, didn't think it was a bot. Then they all just started fucking coming in. And I think this dude is just like, he also could be a bot, to be fair. I haven't really checked in on him, but I really hope that he's a real person. And he's just like, really cares. He's like, man, like, you should listen to your fans who are not real and get Chris back on again. But no hate. Didn't say he liked the podcast. Just like no hate. But please bring Chris on. He didn't say anything. I think he was, just I don't know what he's doing. He's probably having, a tough time if you're answering comments that bots made on YouTube. You can't imagine life going great if that's what you're doing. Anyway, if he's real, I respect him. Oh, if you're listening to this as well, yeah, no, that'd be great. Just let me know. Oh yeah, if people who are listening to this and are saying, and if you're not a bot, could you like write some comments on the Facebook page, the SPG Comedy Facebook page, or the YouTube page, the SPG Comedy on YouTube. Also on Instagram now, SPG Comedy at SPG Comedy at Instagram. That'd be super. Right, so this week I'm gonna wrap it up now because I think I've done enough. And thanks for everyone for hanging out with me for the last 43 minutes. Absolute, I was very shocked if anyone's gotten this far. So yeah, my next show is on Wednesday into Medicine. Starts at 7 at the Powwow Room. Get your tickets on Welly Fun or on the Facebook event, and that would be fantastic. Or on the door. Yeah, so that'd be good. I know I keep saying that the videos is coming for the podcast, and they are. We've just had it. We've been extremely busy lately, and trying to fit in all the extra time for editing has been hard. So at the moment, we're just doing the audio podcast until we figure out a new working schedule. I'm gonna have a little bit more time on my hands now, because we've kind of done all the work, most of the work for the festival shows and all that. So I have a bit more time to commit to the podcast. And yeah, okay. Thank you for listening. Thanks for putting up for me for a little under an hour. I hope you fucking enjoyed it. And if you didn't, please let me know. But if you did, please let me know. Cheers. Thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.